fact, I'm the only progressive voice in this race, the only person who has a record of accomplishments, the only person who holds true to his progressive values. And I think that's been one of the problems here in the community. I don't believe that the leadership that we've had truly represents the community as it is. And we had a debate last week, and many people called attention to some of the issues that they disagree with the current council member on, and I also hold those same views. I never would have voted for a resolution. There was a resolution, let me put it this way, there was a resolution in the city council condemning the Patriot Act. I would have voted in favor of that. There was a resolution in the city council condemning the death penalty. I would have voted in favor of that. Our council member, our current council member, did not vote in favor of that. And I will tell you, in terms of the lead paint bill, a very, very, very important bill that only 6 people in the city council voted against. That bill is extremely important to the people of the district. And I've got to tell you that if one child, just one child, gets lead poisoning, that's one child too many to have lead poisoning. And as a teacher, I know firsthand, because I get to see the effects of what happens when children come in and they have learning disabilities, which is what happens when you have children that eat or swallow lead paint. And I have been an advocate. I have been an advocate for change in terms of the way that we treat the disabled community. I have stood up and I have worked very hard. I know that the New Visions Democratic Club, we chose it because it's in an accessible location. You can bring a wheelchair into the Jewish Center of Jackson Heights. Unfortunately, you cannot do the same thing in the current council member's office. I have stood up for the rights of many of the different people in this community. When Edgar Garcon was murdered because he was gay, I stood up and I fought for his family. And I took that case to Congressman Crowley, and I advocated on their behalf. Because what happened when Edgar Garcon was murdered, and those of you who may not be familiar with the case, he was leaving a bar down on Roosevelt Avenue, going home, and he was bludgeoned to death on the way home because they thought he was gay. And I asked Congressman Crowley's office to please intervene because the parents had just gotten permanent resident status. But when Edgar was killed, the case would have died unless the congressman intervened. And because of that, that family today, they are both, Leonore and Armando Garcon, are both American citizens. And I want to tell you, I did all of this work on the side as a volunteer. My mother says to me, can't you get a paying job? Can't you get one that's going to pay you more than you're making now? And I believe that we make choices in our lives. We make choices about what it is that we're going to do. I have chosen for the last 32 years to spend my life with children because I believe that that is the best investment that we can make in society, is to work with children, to teach children the values that we want them to acquire. So I have done a tremendous amount of work here in this community, and I am really interested in taking the skills that I acquired throughout my activism within the community and using them for the betterment of the community, for advancing the community. I can no longer accept that something can't be done for such and such a reason. I can no longer accept that. I believe that we need to offer hope. Let me give you some examples. I believe that one of the top priorities in this district is to reduce class size. 3/4 of the schools in this district are overcrowded. Those children will have no future unless we reduce class size. That is the #1 issue. I know it firsthand. Every day when I go into my classroom, I see the overcrowded conditions that we work in. I don't have a desk. I don't have a shelf to put my stuff on. They came in and they cleaned out a maintenance closet just about 6 months ago. They took the pitchfork out. They took the shovel out. They took the broom out. And you know what they did? They turned the closet into a classroom. And those conditions, although I work in Sunnyside, are no different than the conditions that the teachers here in this district are forced to deal with. I've been endorsed by the United Federation of Teachers, and I'm very proud of that endorsement, because I really believe that throughout my life, what I have been first and foremost is an advocate for children as well. I can tell you every teaching method that I've used with children that works or doesn't work, that needs revision, and I don't believe in one method fits all. I believe that you work with the child on an individual basis, with what it is that they need. You help each child move and progress according to where they started from. And that is the way that you succeed with children. I disagree with the mayor's approach, the top-down approach. And I must also say that although Helen Sears, the council member, has given smart boards to the district, every council member has done that. We've gotten smart boards in my school, okay? And that doesn't solve the problem.
No.
Okay? You can give smart boards until you're sick in the face with smart boards. You can, but the problem is the real lack of commitment to the public education system. And what we need is a fundamental change in terms of how we approach that. We need an overall plan to reduce class size. That's where we're going to make a difference, and that's the one thing that this chancellor has not done. And that's why I want to run for city council. I want to be an advocate to make sure that that finally happens. And ladies and gentlemen, the other reason I'm running for city council is because I believe that we have a lot of quality of life problems here in this Jackson Heights community. Now, while we have seen some improvements, we still have not seen enough. I love this community just as much as each and every one of you do. Okay? I also moved here to this community, and my mother moved to this community. I lived here in the 80s. I moved back here in 2000. I did a brief stint in Flushing for a while. But all of my activism for those last 17 years have been done here in this community. But we still see overcrowded conditions. We still see congestion. We still see garbage on the streets. This is unacceptable. I have a plan to change that. I have a plan to change the traffic patterns. It's not that we have lacked the ideas. What we have lacked is the leadership. And I think if I'm elected to the city council, I will provide that leadership to provide that change that we need to have here in this community. What I'm telling you is that my life has been as an advocate. If you want somebody to advocate for you and for this community, for the 25th Council District, then I'm the person that you should vote for, because I'm the person who's going to get things done. And so I think with that, I will stop at this point, but I thank you, and I want to ask for your support. Your support from this club would mean an awful lot to me. It would really strengthen my campaign, and it would really boost my candidacy. And I look forward to working with you, as I have done in the past. And again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.